Hey guys, it's South African Chris here from New Zealand, and we're going to look at top stocks for today, which is the 7th of December. I was a little bit on leave last week, so I'm back again this week, hoping to make some good trades. Now you'll see on my screen I'm already scanning for some stocks meeting certain criteria using my platform called Market Investor Pro or MI Pro. Something I developed for myself to help me trade using the strategies that I use, which is basically looking at technical indicators, various technical indicators meeting specific criteria, and I use that for day and intraday trading to then do my trades. So I'll jump over to the portfolio, and just before we look at this new portfolio for this month, let's have a look at what happened last month. So if I access my history for last month, you'll see from the end of October till the end of November, we've had here, and if I move this out of the way, it might be a bit more visible. I've had about 37 trades, 29 of those were wins and 8 of those were losses. So that equates to a profitable month. It means that we take more profit than we suffer losses, which is good, and that is part of my strategy. So I usually set my loss or acceptable losses at a value of 1R, which in this case is about $300. And whenever I have a loss exceeding that, I would cut my losses and consider that as cost of business. But whenever we have a win greater than about 1.5 or 2R, then it starts highlighting in red, indicating to me it's a good time to sell. Now, I don't normally use fundamental trading principles because I rely on technical indicators and algorithmic trading. But in the case of Pfizer, it's an exception. I'm waiting for some good news on the 10th of December from the FDA to know whether the vaccine for the COVID vaccine would be approved. At this stage, you can already see, although it's highlighted in red, it's still it is a profit currently of $1,147.55. But I'm going to let that ride a little bit and see what happens, and keeping a careful eye on that. I also brought across the Nvidia trade from last month, and I decided to close that off today. Not a great profit on this one, only $271.74, and it took a whole of 11 days, which is a bit more than what I would like to have that investment tied up in. But looking at the technical indicators when I bought, which was on the 26th, you'll see that on the stochastics that was just returning from that oversold level at the bottom, that magenta line, and we had a bit of a bearish MACD happening there, but not a great profit. At least it yielded some profit. But if we look at that again, at the most current technical indicators, you'll see that it's now reached an overbought level here, and it's actually bounced a little bit off of that top level at 70 on the stochastics. Still the same trend line on the MACD, so I thought before we start suffering a loss there, let's just take a win. Small wins are also wins. So that's the one for Nvidia. So I've closed that off, and then I will remove this one on market, and I'll probably remove this stock from my watch list for now. So looking at today's stocks, so while the stock scanner is still running, let's just see what has come up so far. So we're scanning through 7,167 stocks in total, and so far we found about 8 of them. Now I'm going to abort the search because I've actually already run this during the weekend, and I know that there's only one stock on my short list that I would consider investing in for today. That might change again, tomorrow and the day after, but for today it's only the one. So let's have a look at those. We've got Apbn, and if we look at the data there, you'll see we've got the EMA stacked on top of each other, which is part of the search criteria. We've got this oversold on the stochastics and turning back up to that level. So I don't usually go into the trade once it crosses below the 30 line, but when it starts heading back towards crossing above the 30, which means right now. We can also see from the MACD it's bullish. We've got that blue line above the red signal line, which is good, and there's quite a gap and no indication of any intersection in the near future. Also on the ATR, we can see that we've got some high levels there, which just kind of gives us an indication on the volatility of the stock. And we can also see that from the candles here at the top. So if we look at, the differences between opens and close, highs and lows, we can see that that's all over the place, which is not necessarily a bad thing. From the relative strength index, we can see that we're well above that 50 mid-level mark there. Again, just indicating it's bullish and it's going well, and hopefully we head back up above that 70 level there again, at which point we'll try and do a sale again. Now, while that's running, let's just look at a few of the others and why I didn't go for them. So here we've got cost, or COST. It's from the consumer services industry, and again, I always recommend having a look at the industry sectors and seeing what they are doing before you make trades, because stocks belonging to a specific sector would usually tend to follow those industries they belong to. Now, there's something wrong with my program today. I need to fix a bug, so it's not giving me the correct technical indicators, but that's fine. I've actually already looked at them. Let's just put them in the list, and then if I relaunch them, we should get the correct data. There we go. So here we can see the technical indicators for COST, and nicely bouncing off of this 50 EMA, which is good. So we can see it's quite a strong support. It's bounced off of it 1, 2, 3, 4, and now potentially for the 5th time. So we could expect this to go up again, just based on the candles. Again, on the stochastics, it's below that oversold line, which is a good time to buy, but we would ideally wait for that to turn back upwards again and cross that 30 baseline at the bottom. One problem I do see here is a crossover on the MACD within the past 5 days or trading days, and that usually is an indicator for me to not get into a trade. So everything looking fairly decent, just a bit of a concern in this MACD. So based on that, I'm going to not consider that one. We also had Cooper Software Incorporated here, and if we look at the technical indicators there, we can see it's all over the show on the candles here. So even bouncing off the SMA 150, not just once, but it looks like reaching for that twice, which means it's a little bit volatile for my taste. Just reaching below oversold, not turning back up again. We can see a crossover in the MACD, but it's more than 5 trade days ago. There's a little bit of a gap, but it looks like it's closing in and doing something that you normally refer to as the duck face, and I don't like that kind of pattern. So personally for me, I'll sit this one out and remove that, and that goes for most of the other stocks I've viewed today as well. So that leaves us with Apbn, so Appian Corporation. Now, what I would do here is, this is not a trading platform, this is just a management and planning platform. So I've got some tools that I've built in here to help me do deep or machine learning processes to analyze stocks, and then also the stock finder, which allows you to just view the technical indicators and make decisions based on those. So now that I've got the Apbn trade there, I'll add the trade. It'll automatically calculate the quantity or the position sizing for me. It knows the current cost because it gets that from the Yahoo Finance API, and we'll just record that and add that as a new trade, and we'll see how that goes over the next few days. And that's my top trade for today. Thanks. Please subscribe to the channel to be notified of future videos that is released, and to be able to see what top stocks I pick for the week every day. And be sure to like this video. Cheers.